What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video got a brand new mold for you. It's brand new to me, but it's been around for a little while. It's the Tango tube from Dual Molds. You can do a lot of different things with this mold. In today's video, we're gonna make some hollow body tubes, and then we're gonna make some tubes that are full all the way through until you get to the little tentacle part. Tubes catch fish all over the place. You can catch a lot of fish on tubes. You can flip them, you can drag them, you can do a lot of stuff with tubes. So I'm excited to get this mold, and I'm excited to bring it to the channel because I think I'm gonna be catching some fish on these tubes here on the channel. So this Tango tube mold is a CNC aluminum mold, and it's a single cavity. It has a bunch of ridges on it, and then in order to make these tubes, you're gonna need to buy these splines along with a little insert. They have these shorter, nubby inserts that you may not be able to see on camera, and then they have other longer inserts that are gonna give you that hollow area like a traditional tube. Now that might sound a little bit confusing, so what I'm gonna do is down in the description of today's video, I'm gonna add product list along with my affiliate link to the Do It Molds website. If you guys go over there to buy anything, anytime at all, use that affiliate link so that way they know that I sent you. You can copy and paste and save that link, so anytime you go to the Do It Molds website, if you use that link, they're gonna know that I sent you over there. Now, when you go to buy this mold, when you purchase the mold, all you're getting is this part right here. You're not getting the spline or these inserts. So you need to buy those separately. So what I have here is a traditional spline, and then I have the longer insert, and then on this one I have, you know, virtually zero insert. You need to have something there or else you're gonna get plastic all the way through the spline. But I like a traditional spline. I can't remember exactly how many different tentacles. I wanna say it's like 15 or 18 or something like that, but that's what I wanted. So I have two of these molds, two of these splines, and then I have alternating inserts, so that way this one's going to be that hollow look that we're going for, and then I'm going to have this one over here which is going to have a more solid tube. So the process to set these up is pretty simple. All you got to do is lay that spline in there, and then this one goes in there as well. So as you can see, when they're in there, you're going to have a full amount of plastic right here, and then that hollow body right there. This one without that long insert is just going to be completely plastic all the way to that stops right here, and then those tentacles are going to come off the bottom. And so for today's video, we're going to be using the soft baits formula from Do It Molds. This is the crystal clear Plastisol in the soft formula. You always want to make sure you shake up your Plastisol really well before you start using it, especially if it's been sitting for a while. Just give it a good shake for maybe a few minutes and get all that stuff mixed up in there so that we don't have any issues when you go to actually pour these baits. And for today's video, we're just doing a single color, so we don't need multiple cups or anything like that. We're just gonna do a basic kind of green pumpkin, watermelon color. I might add in some different flakes and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's just gonna be a green pumpkin, kind of a watermelon. So now we need to heat up our Plastisol. You simply just throw the Plastisol in the microwave, and you're gonna heat it up slowly. I like to go 1 minute at a time, and then I stir it after each minute. So after about 3.5 minutes, this is what we've come up with. I burned it just a little bit. That's why it's kind of got that yellow kind of tint to it. It's not going to affect our bait since we're going with like a green pumpkin. It'll darken everything up and you won't even know that that happened. But this basically means that you want to go slower in your warm-up process. Everything was looking good after the first 2 minutes. And then on the 3rd minute is when I took it out and it looked like this. So I probably needed to go down to 30 seconds. And then it wasn't quite hot enough to make the baits yet. So I went in for another 30 seconds and it didn't affect the color at all. So I just overdid it on that 3rd trip through the microwave. All right, so in this video, we're gonna be using the Soft Baits X2 colorant. This is the watermelon brown color. Just gonna shake it up. And then we're gonna add a couple drops in there. You don't wanna overdo it. This stuff is very thick, so it only takes about maybe 5 or so drops to probably get a decent little color going, and then you can test it. It's one of those things where if you put too much, you mess it up, and if you don't do enough, you can always add a little bit more. Probably gonna need to add a little bit more, so maybe we need to go to about 8 drops or so. So we're gonna add some more. So I think that right there is probably gonna be good. We're gonna do our test baits with that amount. We can always add more later. But we are going to add some flake in there too. So this is going to be 035 black. It's a larger black. And this will darken up our color as well. The black flake always tends to darken everything up, which isn't a bad thing. It's just something that you got to pay attention to when you're making your baits. So that's how it's looking so far. We're also going to add some purple in there. And this is also 035 purple, so it's a larger purple. And then we're going to add one more bit of flake in there. We're going to do some copper flake. This is the first time I've used the copper, so I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. But that's going to be about that's about 1/8 of a teaspoon. It's a little bit smaller, so a little bit goes a long way. And we're going to stir all that in there. Kind of get everything off the side so that we're not wasting flake on the side of our cup here. And so far, that is what we got. I think that's going to look pretty good. Maybe a little bit more purple than I was hoping for, but we're going to put these in the mold and see how they look. All right, so our Plastisol is nice and hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 6-ounce injector and we're going to draw everything up. It doesn't take a lot of Plastisol. It's only 2 baits. Inject everything down, even pressure. I found you don't want to hold the pressure too hard with these, or else you're going to get flashing at the tentacles. Fill up that sprue. Go to the next one. Fill it up. Hold that pressure, but like I said, not too crazy hard. And then we're going to fill up that cavity, top them off a little bit. And then once everything dries and solidifies, we'll check them out. All right, now it's time to take the clamp off and check out our baits. Gotta pop them open. Sometimes you gotta use that little knife to just pop everything open a little bit. Open up the first one. Pop that off. And that color actually looks really good. Super happy with that color. And then here in a second, it's a little bit of a pain to get these off, so I'm gonna take them off of camera and then I will show you them better. But here's the other one, and this is gonna be the full tube right here. This has the hollow body inside of it, but overall that color turned out really cool. So one thing I've found so far with this mold is you get a little bit of flashing around here at the end, and all you got to do is just rub it and that flashing will come right off. Sometimes the tentacles will pop out, but it'll get that flashing to come off without having to do anything crazy. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just a little bit less pressure would be helpful. But to take these off, I just simply pull everything out of the spline. Just like that. Once you get enough of them, you can kind of just pop it off just like that. But there you have it. There's our Tango tube. And this is the one that has the solid body right here. And we're going to do some with salt here next. So this is going to be our more traditional tube that has the hollow body inside. This has the insert inside of it. So we're just going to get all these tentacles off. And this one, you're going to want to get all the tentacles off before you do anything because it has that insert in there. And you're going to slide the bait off of the insert. And I just like to go nice and slow, get that bait off of there. And just like that, we have our tube. So that last tube that had the hollow body with this insert in there, I had a little bit of difficulty getting it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of worm oil on there. That might be too much, but we're just going to spin it and get it all on there. So that way it's a little bit easier to get that tube off next time. So most tubes have some sort of salt in them. So what we're going to use is this popcorn salt. We have almost a cup of Plastisol in there. So we're going to take almost a 1/4 cup of salt and stir it in there. When you're stirring that salt in there, make sure to stir your Plastisol while that salt's going in there. The salt will cool everything down quite a bit, and it will, you know, soften the baits. You guys know what it's like to have a really salty bait. They do tear a little bit easier, but there's just something about that salt, the sink rate and everything like that. So we have that salt in there. We're going to stir it around, and we definitely are going to need to microwave it and get it all thinned out again. Changes the color also, but that's still definitely a fish catching color. So we're gonna just get them back in the microwave and then we'll pour up our baits. All right, so our Plastisol is good to go. It's nice and hot. One thing that you got to remember when you're using salt in this level or this amount is you got to pour everything a little bit hotter because you're trying to force all that extra substance into the same size slots, and you're going to need to use a little bit more pressure. So we're going to do that and see if we can get these splines to fill out all the way. It's a lot more pressure on there. You probably can't tell on camera, but it is a lot more pressure that I'm giving it. And then again on this one, Holding that pressure, trying to make sure we get everything to fill out. Top off that sprue. Top off the other one. And the extra goes back in the cup. Alright, it is time to take off the clamps and open up the molds to see what we're working with. Hopefully everything filled out nicely. The first one looks like it did. This is the full body version, not the hollow one. The spline filled out really good, so that extra pressure was key. And then as you can see, there's nothing in here, so that's just a full body of plastic right there. Turned out a good color as well. That'll catch fish for sure. And we'll open up the next one. This one didn't quite get all the splines all the way good, but that actually probably gives it more of a natural look, to be honest with you, because not everything is perfectly even out there in nature. But as you can see, this one has the insert in there to keep that body hollow, but not all the splines got filled out. Not that big a deal. Still going to catch fish on it, but that's just probably not hot enough or not enough pressure to fill everything in there. Okay, so we're going to do one more run of these salted Tango tubes, getting that salt to be all throughout the Plastisol. That's why I'm stirring it up real good. We're going to go over, grab our 6-ounce injector, suck up that Plastisol, make sure we got a good flow, which we do. Even pressure down. I'm going to hold that pressure real hard this time to try to get everything to fill out real good. Top off that sprue. Go to the next one. Really hold that pressure, try to get it all to fill in. Okay, we're going to check out our baits. Hopefully everything got filled in all the way. Separate the sprues here. Check everything out. This first one got filled in all the way. Check out the regular tube. And this one did as well. So what I did on this second go is I made sure to use a lot of pressure and make sure the heat was all the way through. I think I have 2 little tentacles that didn't get filled in quite all the way, but that right there is not a reason to not fish this bait. You're going to end up messing them up maybe a little bit when you take them out of here. Fish might bite them off, get them hung up, falls off in the package. This is still 100% fishable. I guarantee if you go and look at other tubes that you buy in the store, they're not going to be 100% perfect all the time either. Well guys, there you have it. We have our full-size Tango tubes. Some of them are full plastic like that one, and some of them are hollow on the inside. Pretty cool little bait. I think this is going to become a staple on the channel, and I think you guys are going to be interested to see in future videos how I'm going to rig these up. Well guys, there you have it. Those are some Tango tubes. These are the first ones that I made up. I played around with the mold a little bit yesterday. I literally made 2 baits just to kind of get an idea of how this mold would work so I could show you guys here on the channel. Don't forget about my Dual Molds affiliate link and product list down in the description of today's video. I'm going to list everything out so you can search it on the Dual Molds website to make it easiest for you guys to find. Please use that affiliate link when you go to their website as well, so that way they know that I sent you. If you guys want to watch more of my tackle making videos, make sure to click on the playlist that's on the screen right now, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya!